I'm Jordan Belfort, and this is Sales School. All right, short message from my number one sponsor, NetSuite. Here's the deal. If you're a business owner, you don't need them, NetSuite, to tell you it's tough to run a business, because it is, right? We all know that. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. They're the world's number one cloud-based business system. They give you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. You want to join over 24,000 companies using NetSuite right now. So schedule a free product tour now at netsuite.com/school. That's netsuite.com/school. Let me tell you the bottom line. I'll just put it to you this way. I'll tell you the story, right? My first real job in sales was selling meat and seafood door to door. Now, I had sold since I was, had a lemonade stand at 5 years old, right? I was out there knocking on doors with a paper out at the age of 7, 8 years old, right? At the age of 11, I was banging on doors, shoveling driveways after snowstorms in New York. By the age of 13, I was out there doing children's parties, answering incoming calls from an ad I had in the Penny Saver, right? The amazing Belfort. And at the age of 16, I was going blanket to blanket on Jones Beach, making more money than any adult in my area. I was making back then $400 or $500 a day, which is equivalent to $3,000, at least $2,000 a day right now, when I was 16 years old, all right? But those weren't like sales in terms of persuasion, really. I mean, maybe the paper out a little bit, but there was mostly a young kid. I was cute, calling a neighbor. They, wasn't really, I would say, actually really was persuasion, but not like there wasn't really much strategy involved. That's my intuitive born closer, me just looking right and sounding good. But here's the deal. It all crystallized when I was 21. And I dropped out of dental school, right? You know the story. And I answered a blind ad in the newspaper, and the ad said, action, make $1,000 a week, company vehicle. It's like, wow, $1,000 a week? Well, that's almost like beach money, it's half that, but all year round, right? I was like, sounds good, I'll get a car. Well, it turned out it was a truck when I showed up, and they were selling meat and seafood door to door. The training program was as follows. You would simply put you in a truck. It was a Toyota pickup truck, not a huge truck, right? With a freezer box, a wooden box in the back with dry ice. And the training program had me going door to door and just watching and observing someone else. And the person I was sent to go door to door was someone nicknamed the Penguin. And they called him the Penguin. He's a waddle around. Like Burgess Meredith had nothing on this guy, by the way, right? With like a stick up his butt, right? He just had this real funny waddle. He called him the Penguin, right? So the Penguin says to me, the key to selling is you got to be pumped and positive, right? You got to stay positive. You got to stay pumped, right? And no matter what they do, how many doors they slam in your face, always say, have a nice day. And I'm like, why? He goes, because it makes you feel better about yourself. Well, I found out what he meant by that. What makes you feel better about yourself. About an hour later, when he jumped out of the truck and said, we drove about an hour away from New York, a neighborhood called, it was New Rochelle, upstate New York, right? Westchester County. And he's like, just watch me and learn. And he knocked on the first door and he started his pitch. Hi, my name's Elliot. Slam. Right in his face. Never even got the pitch off. Goes to the next door. Knock, knock, knock. Door opens. Can I help you? Hi, I'm Elliot. I deliver meat and fish. Slam. He's like, haven't I? Well, what happened was, and this happens in sales, you get into these cold areas. And if you're cold calling on the phone, you just get a bad streak of leads where people are not interested. They're hanging up on you. They're being rude to you. It happens. Sales is a numbers game, and it always will be. Good news is there's things we could do now that I teach you to bring those numbers up dramatically of how you get through. But the point is you're going to face some massive rejection. And what impressed me about Elliot was that, no matter how many doors he knocked on, no matter how many were slammed in his face, he kept his shoulders back, his head up. He was pumped and positive, right? Until somewhere around 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And all of a sudden I noticed that like 50 doors have been slammed in his face. He gets out of the truck, drops his shoulders, puts his head down. He loses the stick up his butt. It falls out because he's like walking just normal, right? He knocks on the door, like barely even knocks. I call it the non-closer's knock. Woman opens up, kind looking woman. Can I help you? He goes, my name's Elliot. I deliver meat and fish to your neighbors. You wouldn't want any filet mignon, shrimp, or lobster tails, right? I mean, the last 50 people all said no, so I'm assuming you're going to say no too. So just get it over with, if you will. Now, obviously, he didn't say those words. He didn't have to. They were oozing out of him, like the tonality, his body language. He lost his state of certainty. I'll never forget this, guys. I'll never forget this moment as long as I live of watching someone who is, who's a great salesman in his own right, and I trained him. He ended up working with me. I trained him in the straight line, right? But the point was, in that moment, he lost his state of certainty, and he did not close one sale the rest of the day. And if you're on certification, you know exactly what this is about. Right? Because I explained in the introduction that sales is the transference of emotion. And for those of you who are not on certification, well, you've heard me say this before, but not as in a much, less methodical way. You're transferring certainty from yourself to the prospect. You get it? It's not the straight line that creates certainty. The straight line transfers certainty. It allows it to, this feeling that you have, that the product is the best, that you're the best, that the person should be buying it, it's in their best interest, they should really own it. That sense of certainty is what you need to get across to someone else to get them from saying, let me think about it, to saying, yeah, let's do it. The straight line transfers certainty. If you show up to a sales encounter, whether it's in person or over the phone, and you're not in a state of certainty, you have nothing to transfer. Just remember that if you have any moment this week while you're going through this module and you're saying, oh, it's not looping or it's not scripting and it's not as important to me, you're wrong. You're wrong. I promise you, you can become 100% proficient at the outer world strategies of the straight line. And if you don't get your inner game sorted, you're not going to be able to apply it. You just won't. Okay? So that's why you'll notice as we go through this training, we're going to be peppering in these outer world modules with inner world. So I'm going to pepper in the inner world too. The outer world are your core modules for closing, getting into the skills that you need. But in order to access those skills and to continually apply those skills, you must get this sorted too. All success starts up here, between your ears. That's where it starts. And then it's the skills that you possess that allow you to take what's up here, an idea, a goal, a vision for your future, to take that and manifest it in the real world. Success is the integration of inner and outer world competencies into one cohesive unit. And once you can do that, you become an unstoppable force of nature. So make it your point this week to really go through this module, go through your exercises, get your anchor set, condition it again and again. I promise you, you're going to see a huge upturn in not just your ability to close, but it's just how many leads you get, how you feel throughout the day. Learning how to manage your state is the gift you give yourself. Bottom line, all right? I love you all. Dig into this stuff. Let's rock and roll. We'll talk again in the morning. Get specific.